We're reading the Beis HaLevi on Bitachon 16. When there are no natural means for effort to succeed, there is no obligation to expand effort. And therefore, when a person has no means through which to try to attain his sustenance, his needs, he should not be discouraged by this. David HaMelech says that I have been a youth and also aged, but I have seen a righteous man forsaken and his children begging for bread. This verse would imply that righteous men always have what they need to feed their children. Rav Akiva Eger asks the obvious, challenging question: has there never been a righteous man who is poverty-stricken? Have his children never asked their neighbors for bread? He explained that although the righteous people may suffer from poverty, they never feel forsaken or become disheartened, for they know that in any situation Hashem can save them. Thus, this is the verse to be understood as follows: I have not seen a righteous man who feels that he is forsaken, even if his children are begging for bread. Because once the gates of the obligation efforts have been locked for him, he becomes exempt from this obligation, and he should simply rely on Hashem to provide him with his needs. This realization is a great source of encouragement for people who are unable to fill their needs. Some examples of this would be a person who has no job, heaven forbid, and after making a reasonable effort, both in terms of searching and honing his skills, he has still been unsuccessful in finding one. Or a patient who is ill, heaven forbid, who has seen the proper doctors and has taken the prescribed medications and treatments, but is still sick. Or a person who cannot find a suitable marriage partner, despite doing everything he can. The Beis HaLevi writes that, rather than feel disheartened, he should recognize that Hashem has absolved him of his hishtadlus obligation, and he is like Adam before the sin, and he should fully rely on Hashem for his needs without worrying. Rav Rolbe observed that people sometimes mistaken Bitachon for laziness, as an excuse not to work or to invest effort. In reality, however, once a person has fully done all he could, he is not lazy. He can relax and trust in Hashem and feel gratified at having been relieved of his responsibility to invest effort, resting with a clear conscience. Finding serenity. A powerful example of this aspect of Bitachon is the story told of the Brisker Rav during the World War I. He found himself in an area under a bombardment. The decision needed to be made whether the people should go down into a bunker or whether they should remain where they were. During this discussion, the Brisker Rav was visibly nervous and tense. Finally, he said, "There is no way of knowing which option is safer." He went into his room and started learning, calmly and peacefully, as though nothing was happening. One of his students asked why he was suddenly so calm. After realizing that there was no way of knowing what to do, he should have been even more anxious. No, the Brisker Rav explained. As long as the decision was needed to be made, I was under the Torah obligation to do everything necessary to safeguard myself. So I needed to think very carefully to make the right decision. But once I determined that there was no clear advantage to one option over the other, there was no obligation of hishtadlus, so I could relax. When there is nothing more to do, we should feel more relaxed and not more anxious. We should realize that we have been absolved of our responsibility to act, so we can calmly rely on Hashem. Tax-free. Chazal teach us that on Shabbos we are to look at all the work as having been fully completed, because in this sense, it indeed has been completed. If Hashem told us not to work on Shabbos, then, by definition, we have no work to do. It was Hashem who determined that we need to work in the first place. Whom imposed the tax of hishtadlus? It is He who tells us each week that we are freed from this tax. And on Shabbos, as the Mesilas Yesharim writes, nobody is willing to pay a tax that he is not forced to pay. If we talk about, worry about, or even think about our work in our finances on Shabbos, then we are unnecessarily paying a tax. Hashem gave us the Shabbos as a day off. The Shabbos then is the perfect opportunity for us to develop and enhance our Bitachon, and to appreciate how we are being cared for by Hashem, even during the week, when we need to pay our tax. Therefore, Shabbos is called the source of blessing, because it helps us exercise our Bitachon and the merit which brings us great blessing. Let us take advantage of the precious opportunity Shabbos offers to strengthen our belief that Hashem cares for us always. Doing so will help us remain calm, content, and confident in times and under circumstances, even when we feel helpless.